I'm Jason Stamm, publisher of the VTZone.com, and welcome to another edition of the VT Zone Scoutcast. Breaking down another week in Virginia Tech sports. I know we're kind of off season, but there's always stuff coming up every week. It seems like there's always something going on with Virginia Tech. So I've got Doug Bowman here on line one joining us. Doug, how's everything going?
Going pretty well. How's it going down there?
You know, the NRV is pretty nice. Grilled out some burgers tonight, so definitely good weather right now. Should be good weather this weekend. Derrick Hopkins also joining us. Derrick, how's the weather over in your neck of the woods?
It's hot, man. It's hot and it's still like 80 degrees outside. So it's pretty warm.
Yeah, it's this time of year, man. You just wait till it gets here in another about, month and a half. Then you'll really be saying it's warm at 8 o'clock.
I know, man.
I know. This is Skip's favorite weather, isn't it?
Yeah, man. No way. Crazy. Sweat all day. Walk outside, start sweating. That's the best.
Yeah, you walk outside for like 5 minutes and your shirt sticks to you. It's always fun.
I love that stuff. That's
yep.
Sweet.
Just stickiness. So, guys, I wanted to start off, and this honestly doesn't really have a ton to do with Virginia Tech, and I don't normally bring this stuff up, but I feel like it's pretty big on the college landscape. Obviously, the last few days, really this week, has been all the talk as far as college sports go, is the mess at Baylor. And, I mean, you talk about just all the way up to the president of the university. This thing goes very deep. So, Doug, I don't think we need to go into a lot of detail with it. There was the basically allegations, kind of the sexual assaults that have been covered up, and kind of the whole thing slipped under the rug. Doug, I guess what's your thought on just kind of what's going on down there?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I think like a mess describes it pretty accurately. Seems like they're going to clean house from the bottom of the athletic department all the way to the president of the school. So definitely not the best day in Waco, I would say.
Skip, any thoughts? I know, at least for me, the crazy thing to me in this whole thing is that Kenneth Starr, the one who, basically implicated Bill Clinton in the sex scandal, is the president of Baylor. I mean, I don't know what to think. President. Yeah, it's true, was. But, Skip, any thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's just look, interesting to see how, it's all about football or whatever, but it's a lot goes on behind the scenes, man. People might cover up or might not, say. It just goes to show that, even though you have a school like Baylor, like there's stuff that goes on all across the country, man. Things that nobody ever talks about, just kind of thrown under the rug, I think it's just interesting and crazy, man, but, it's kind of sad, but, yeah.
Yeah, it is sad, and I think it's something that we need to talk about, because it's, it's something that too often, too many times, people have thought it's okay to sweep under the rug and try to cover it up, and obviously we know that's not the case. So, I just want to kind of start off with that. All right, we'll sweep that under the rug ourselves. So, Doug, I do want to start off. We don't normally start off with Virginia Tech baseball, but some big news this week. You and I have been talking about, or you've been covering this all season as the losses piled up, what was going to happen with Pat Mason. And I confirmed myself through a very, very good source in the administration. Of course, it came out. Our buddy Mark Berman over at the Roanoke Times, I guess, is the one that broke it, but I confirmed it also. Pat Mason is going to be staying on as coach. I was a little surprised to see it. I know you were too. I saw your tweet. What does that mean, and what do you take from Pat Mason staying on now as baseball coach?
Yeah, I mean, I was completely surprised by it. I mean, this is a team that struggled all year, and they've had three years, and I think they only qualified for the ACC for the conference tournament once under Pat Mason. Struggled pretty much in all facets of the game this year. So I would say I was pretty surprised that given Whit with Babcock's track record with, coming in and immediately making a move with James Johnson or moving away from Dennis Wolf this year as women's basketball coach, I was pretty surprised that, he's given Pat Mason at least one more year. I really think it came down to two things. I think there's a case to be made that, the injuries that Tech's top two pitchers, Aaron McGarity and Luke Scherzer, had that pretty much knocked him out for the year. Could have made a bigger difference. I don't know if it would have made that big a difference. But then I think the other thing is just money. Right now, Virginia Tech's pretty strapped for cash, and just the whole college athletic landscape in terms of finances is completely changing. So to fire Pat Mason after this year would have required, with 2 years left on his deal, would have required Virginia Tech to pay 2 baseball coaches for the next 2 years. And for a non-revenue producing sport, I just don't think that made sense at this time for Virginia Tech. So they're going to give Mason one more shot. Hopefully they'll return a lot of guys that took their lumps this year, both at the plate and on the mound, and see if they can make enough of a dent in terms of improvement next year to get ready for 2018, which is I think when they're trying to get all the new facility expansion and renovation and all that done.
Which is interesting because like you said, Pat Mason. I think that's exactly what it is, Doug. I think it's like you hit the nail on the head. I mean, the financial part of it, having 2 years left on that deal, which 2018 will be the last year of that deal. So you got to think that is, he's in a contract year. That is kind of the year he better put up or shut up kind of thing. We'll be back in the spot here in 2 years. Of course, unless they completely tank next year, I think this shows if he's good after this year, I think he's got to be back next year, or, the following year for 2018. But
I don't know that that's that kind of that lame duck thing. I don't know how you can keep a coach in any sport in college athletics with only 1 year left on his deal. How is he going to recruit at all anybody? Who's going to come play for him when he's only got 1 year left on his deal? I think after next year you have to make the decision whether we're going to give him the extension and lock him in and commit for another 4 or 5 years so that he actually has a chance to recruit, or you're going to have to move in another direction. I think that's one of the things that forced Dennis Wolf to be removed as women's basketball coach. He had 1 year left, so there wasn't enough evidence to give him an extension, and with 1 year left, no high school kid is gonna commit to a school where the coach probably isn't going to be there.
Yeah, and I know Coach Mason does have he's got a pretty decent recruiting class coming in. I think that also added to it, but he's bought himself 1 more year. That's a good point. I think it'll be a reevaluation at this point next year. It better be some improvement at least anyway. I don't know if I would think they've got to at least be in contention to get back in the ACC tournament, if nothing else. So
that's the thing. Like, how much of an improvement is going to warrant keeping him another year? Does it have to be a conference tournament berth, or Whit Babcock talks about how he wants to be the best department in the league, and if you're scrapping and clawing for a spot in the ACC tournament, is that enough to give a guy a multi-year extension? I don't know.
Yeah, well, we'll see again. I know we'll be talking about this time next year if they don't start out much better this point next year. So, Skip, I want to get your take first off, man. I'm sure you saw it. At least I think you saw it. I know it was. I thought it was very not like newsworthy, but definitely something for us to talk about. Coach Justin Fuente has a WWE Championship belt from Jerry the King Lawler in his office. And I don't know if you can get much cooler than that. That's up there. I'd be wearing that belt around all the time. I don't know. I guess, would you be wearing that belt if you had an authentic WWE Championship belt?
Yeah, everywhere, man. I'm wearing that. Everywhere I go, I'm putting that thing on, man. Going to the store, Kroger, Martin's. But no, I wasn't really I was a wrestling fan, but me personally, I wouldn't wear it. I would probably.
Well, And it's got a personal inscription and like autograph by Jerry the King Lawler, who Jerry the King Lawler obviously he still he commentates all this stuff, but I think a lot of people know who Jerry the King Lawler is. To me, that was one of the coolest things I've seen with Coach Fuente.
Jason, I'm still kind of young. When I was growing up, when I was watching wrestling, I mean, he wasn't wrestling; he was more commentating. So I don't really, he wasn't really. You said Undertaker, said Kane, or you said, some of the other ones that was wrestling when I was wrestling, when I was watching it, maybe, but I don't really know who he is. So,
but he is from commentating, and he's. To me, I don't care who it's from. If you have a WWE Championship belt, yeah, I'd go. Buying a dozen eggs, buying a gallon of milk, I'd go wear my belt to Kroger. So.
I think they need to work on a storyline here and work Fuente into some kind of Monday Night Raw storyline, and maybe let like Brock Lesnar suplex him or something. If you want to get some recruits, that's the way to do it.
Well, you saw like Jim Ross, who's the other commentator with the King, JR.
Yeah.
He tweeted at him that he was following him. So now you've got the two main commentators now for WWE.
Yeah,
are on. I guess they're Virginia Tech fans.
Let's get them like a Monday Night Raw and the 757 and get Fuente out there and really get some innovative recruiting tactics going.
Skip, would you be interested in maybe officiating one of those if it were to come through Richmond?
If I was getting paid, sure.
They could do it like on the night of one of those satellite camps or something. It's perfect.
Ooh. Doug, Go ahead, Skip.
I said if I was getting paid, yeah, I'd go ahead out there and officiate. Counting 1, 2, 3.
Well, Doug, that's a perfect lead-in, man, because I wanted to talk about we've talked all about satellite camps and. Came out this week, at least. We already knew about the camps they were going to set up in 757 in Northern Virginia. We don't have specifics on what high school, but we know they're doing them there. But it came out this week that Coach Fuente said that he's also going to do satellite camps in New Jersey and Atlanta. And I know when they first came up with satellite camps, North Carolina was one of the first spots I thought of. So they're going a little farther than that, obviously. But Skip, I don't know, what do you think about Virginia Tech getting in and doing camps, only one-day camps, but doing camps in New Jersey and Atlanta?
I like it. Because if you kind of do it in North Carolina, you still can't reach as many people as Atlanta. Because, if you do it in North Carolina, you can't, guys from like Florida or guys, from like Georgia might not come up. But if you actually do it in like Georgia and Atlanta, you got guys from Florida that comes. You got guys from South Carolina. You got guys from Georgia that will come to Atlanta. It's kind of like a central hub. Kind of like for like a flight. Atlanta's like the hub. Everybody, you fly from Richmond to Atlanta. And that's for down south. But up north, New Jersey is kind of like the same thing as Atlanta. It's kind of a central place that everybody. It's a good distance for everybody to go to travel to. That it's not like out the way. It's not like you got to drive 12 hours to get to it. For like everybody doesn't have to drive that far. It's like kind of medium in the middle type place. So I like it. I think it's a good choice, especially if you want to go East Coast. I think it's good. You get to reach a lot of guys. So I think it was a good move.
So Skip, as a recruit, I mean, obviously they're not going to get a chance to see campus at these satellite camps. But does that would it improve what you think of a school? I guess if they came to you at some of these satellite camps.
I mean, sure. But I think the whole thing with satellite camps is it just give coaches a better chance to see players and players to see coaches. Especially like a lot of coaches want to see players actually do drills, and guys can't always come to the school or coaches can't go to that school. So I think these camps would help reach people that Virginia Tech coaches wouldn't normally see in person. They have a camp in in Atlanta, and a guy that they've never seen before comes to the camp and oh wow, he's a good player. Let's offer that guy. You know, and if they didn't have the cap, that would never happen. So I think it just besides all the like you said, coming to you. I mean, it just gives coaches another chance to see players that they would never see in person or live action and things like that. So, um, yeah.
Doug, any thoughts on camps? Satellite
Yeah,
camps?
I mean, I think those two locations are ideal. I mean, I think obviously they got to do one in the 757 just to, you know, keep up appearances, and everybody's going to be going to the 757, so you got to be there. But I think as far as other locations, going to Atlanta or wherever they're going to be in Georgia and New Jersey, I mean, I think those are places where prospects who can't just make the drive to Blacksburg are going to be. So they kind of they go to them, like you were talking about. And I think that's huge that that they can get the whole staff in there coaching a camp, and maybe there's a prospect that that's heard of Bud Foster and hasn't ever met him and doesn't know anything about Bud Foster, but here he is at this camp in New Jersey, and Bud Foster spends 20 minutes with him working on some drill, and then all of a sudden that relationship has formed, and the guy's super impressed and wants to come visit Blacksburg. So I think by holding the camps far enough away where it's going to be mostly prospects who can't just make a simple trip to Blacksburg, I think that's really smart.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're only going to see the benefits of this thing as we go down the road. So, on the basketball side, I guess the big story still right now, we're still waiting to see who the assistant coach is going to be. Doug, I'm sure you saw. We talked to Ace Custis this week. I thought Ace may be a candidate. He's one of the only former Hokies I know that's really probably a viable candidate. And he'd already said that Buzz. He reached out to Buzz. Buzz wasn't interested. He said he's already got some guys. It sounded more and more like Dale Layer may be the guy. And obviously nothing's happened yet. But I guess what do you think about Layer, or what do you think even kind of where they stand right now with the assistant coach situation?
Yeah. I mean, Ace has wanted a Virginia Tech assistant job for a long time, and where's he at now? He's at
Maryland Eastern Shore.
Yeah, so he's got to get some more experience before he can make that kind of leap. And Buzz Williams kind of seems like the type of guy that's gonna kind of rely on guys that he's got existing relationships with and that he's worked with for a long time. So Lair makes a lot of sense in that regard, and I don't know exactly if he's as good a recruiter as a guy like Isaac Chu, but I don't think Buzz Williams is much worried about that. I think he thinks he can handle most of the recruiting with Jamie McNeely and the rest of the staff. So, I mean, it makes a lot of sense at this point in the stage. I think at this point in the off season, I think a lot of the moves have kind of already been the coaching carousel, so to speak, is spun already. So I think a guy like Lair who's looking for a job and has a previous relationship with Buzz makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think it makes a ton of sense. I mean, looks like he's been more working with athletes in action over in Germany. So I think that may be part of the holdup is because he's overseas, is getting him back stateside. But I don't know. I mean, everything we're hearing right now is kind of pointing that way. So Skip, on the other side of it, well, we don't know an assistant coach. I did want to get your thoughts, as a fan or just, came out this week. The ACC Big Ten Challenge is always a pretty big deal. Playing Michigan this year, which I think is kind of an upgrade. They had Northwestern come into Castle Coliseum this past season, but how much of an upgrade is it that they're playing Michigan this time?
I think it's good. It's another big game on the schedule. Another good team to play. When do they play them? I'm not sure when.
What is it?
It'll
Doug?
be in early December.
Yeah, it's like that first week of December.
Yeah, so it's still kind of early in the season. Is that early in the season? When does the season start? November?
Yeah, it's like the second or third week of the year. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's good. It gives them a good test measure to see where they at. Playing somebody of good good level of competition instead of playing like Radford and
Yes, we know how Skip feels about Radford.
You know, especially coming off last year, they had a good, good ending of the season, decent season. They finished kind of strong. So, by playing a good team early, it gives them a test to see where they at, what they need to improve on, and things like that. So, I like playing Michigan better than Radford and Louisiana Tech and a lot of small schools like that. So, I think it's a good move, man, by the program.
Doug, any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good test. I mean, Michigan's been a pretty solid program under Beeline for ever since he got there, basically, and that's a good opportunity to pick up a road win that'll make a difference in March when they start talking about the brackets and stuff. So, yeah, I think that's a good opportunity, and the Big Ten ACC Challenge, they make up the matchups kind of based on they match up the best teams in the Big Ten with the best teams in the
Right.
ACC. So anytime you start playing the bigger teams as opposed to Northwestern, that says a lot about where you're going as a program.
Just anything to help that RPI. We've talked about that killed them down the stretch, and obviously did not do them any kind of favors when they were even trying to sniff on the NCAA tournament bubble line. So, but the other thing, Doug, I'll start with you. The Whit Babcock tweeted out this week, started at least kind of some prototypes, some seats, doing some more upgrades to Castle. I don't know if you got a chance to see those seats, but what do you think about any kind of more changes to Castle Coliseum?
Yeah, I think it's the first in what's going to be a multi-year kind of slow renovation kind of looking thing at Castle. I think they're going to modernize it a little bit, and it starts with the seats are going to be wider, probably more comfortable. I don't know when the last time they changed the seats are, but they're pretty old, I would assume.
It's been a long time, man. I have no idea. Those things have been there.
I don't know if they've ever changed. But
they might be the original seats. We don't know.
Yeah, so, I mean, anytime you can modernize it like that, and, I mean, that's one of the things they got to do. It'll cut the capacity down, but, I mean, they're not going to sell out from 10,000 to 9,500 isn't going to make a big difference. So, I mean, I think that's a good move, and probably the first in a long list of things that Whit Babcock wants to do to Castle Coliseum, because, I don't think building a new arena is feasible with the money situation anytime over the next many years. So I think they're just going to have to renovate and make little adjustments to try and make it as modern as possible.
Well, and I think they've kind of done something every year. I mean, they had,
they did the lights and
and they did the scoreboard and the media section. They've kind of, it's been like one thing at a time here each year.
Yeah, it seems like eventually they'll get into. I'm sure they'll do something with the concourse, and I remember Buzz saying he wants to move the students down courtside, so that'll take some creative architecture there. So we'll see.
Skip, have you been to a game at Castle in a while?
Not in a while, but I've been to one. I've been to some, and I'm glad to get new seats. Like, I'm kind of wide, and those seats weren't meant for wide guys. So I just sit down and just, I could barely fit in the seat. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, sometimes I didn't go to the games because the seat was just, I don't feel like sitting in that seat today. I don't feel like it. So I watched it on TV. Seriously. Like, it's like, the seats are like hard and old.
Yeah.
Butt start hurting after like 30 minutes.
Well, so, see, I think when Whit Babcock hears this podcast and hears you don't have an adequate seat, I think that's going to make a difference right there.
We got a fan. Whit listens.
I mean, I'd like to think he does.
Oh, I'm sure he does.
He does. Who doesn't want to listen to Skip? I always want to hear what Skip has to say.
I agree.
All right. Well, let's get to here at the end. So let's get to. Go ahead, Skip. Oh, his Skip's kind of fading out. All right, let's get some shout-outs. Doug, who's your shout-out to this week?
Oh.
Yeah, we got you, Skip.
We can hear you, Skip.
Go ahead, Doug.
Shout-out. God, I'm so bad at these all the time. Well, I don't know. You can go first again.
Well, I know we can't. You can't shout out a Triple Crown possibility. I'm sorry that one got shot.
That got screwed up. But I hit the 10-cent super, so I won $31 on that.
That's not bad. It's
I
not
should
a
have bet
bad
$1.
If only, man.
Yeah.
Jeez, Doug. Jeez.
But, 10 cents is it's a frugal bet. So.
Yes, it is. Well, I did the same thing out in Vegas. I always play like the penny slots or the dime slots. I don't usually go with
we're looking
the high
for
roller
good
stuff.
We're looking for a good return on investment here, and $31 on 10 cents is pretty good in my opinion.
Well, I gotta give a shout out to. Well, first of all, I think I don't know if I want to give one to the Thunder yet. They're getting close to closing out the Warriors, but it hasn't happened yet. So, Scout has they've really improved the app. I got to give a shout out to Scout because I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's looking a hell of a lot better each and every time, and it's pretty cool some of the changes they're doing, and it's cool. Obviously, we're doing our podcast has even improved. So, yeah, that's my shout out. Doug, you got one now?
I'm gonna stay on the gambling theme here.
Of course.
A friend of mine is who we'll go with here. A friend of mine might have placed a parlay here on the Tampa Bay Lightning to win the Stanley Cup, and then I still believe in the Golden State Warriors to win the NBA Finals. So that's the bandwagons that my friend is on right now.
Well, your hopes are hinging on the night. I know we got Game 7
my friend's
hockey.
hopes. Yes.
Your friend's hopes, sorry. So
yes.
Game 7 hockey. By the time this podcast comes out here Friday morning, I guess we'll know.
Both of them could be done.
Yeah, we'll know where you stand.
Yeah.
All right, Skip, who's your shout out to this week?
Shout out to myself.
What?
No, I have, I'm working on some camps that I want to do, or I'm going to do at Holland Springs. Some D-lineman camps coming up in June and July. So just stay tuned for that. So yeah, shout out to myself, man.
You want me to come out there and show them the swim move?
Yeah, man, your swim move is nice, Doug.
Yeah, I got a pretty mean swim, so.
Yeah, but you gotta pay me to come out there. You gotta pay me like $50 for you to come show them.
Okay.
I'm not sure you don't really have any creds yet, so.
I mean, once you see my swim move.
Man, you're talking up the swim move, Doug. I hope it really is as good as you're making it out to be here. These are some campers that are really expecting a lot at the Derrick Hopkins camp.
I know, man.
Well, Skip, you got the power of the message board here, man. You'll have to give us updates and let us know. We'll plug anything with your camp.
Yeah, definitely. I just got the date squared away. So I'm starting to work on like the actual camping, all the stuff like that. So it's gonna be the max people I want is like 24. It's only like 24 spots available. So it's not that many people, but I want to like intimate settings so I can kind of teach and help really get in on the fundamentals. So I'm looking forward to it. It should be fun.
So is this exclusively D lineman or is this offensive lineman too?
Just straight D lineman.
Straight D line. Okay.
Get D line work in. Man.
Well, you learn from one of the best right here, Mr. Skip Hopkins. I think would be a great teacher to anybody want to know, kind of perfect their craft a little bit. So, guys, I know it went pretty quick, but I guess these ones in the summer are not quite going as long as we had, but. I know I was telling these guys before. I will say, everybody stay tuned. We've got some even more improvements to the podcast coming, hopefully next week. Big changes on the way. We're really expanding our reach. YouTube, on SoundCloud. We'll be on iHeart soon. We hope maybe when the season starts or something around that time. But lots of possibilities here with the VTZone.com Scoutcast. For Doug Bowman, Derrick Skip Hopkins, I'm Jason Stamm. Thank you for checking us out, and check us back here next week.